So, Ruchira, thank you very much for your time today. I'm so happy that this finally has happened. I find it very interesting how we've reconnected. For those of you who are watching, me and Ruchira have known each other for many, 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 many years. We've actually only met once. I was thinking about this just when you got married, because I went to school with Ruchira's husband. So when they got married, they came to Dubai, and I think we went for shisha or something. So, and I think that's the first and last time we met, but we've been in touch, and I've been watching Ruchira's journey for a really long time now, and I just love everything she does. She's very, very active, and she's going to talk about what she does in a second. And I've just seen her grow and flourish over the years, doing a million things and inspiring so many people on the way. And I'm so happy that we reconnected thanks to my Working Moms Club newsletter. And that's why I love it, because I get to connect with people like Ruchira and reconnect. And we've been trying to do this call for the last 6 months, and finally it's happened. The life of a working mom. Thank you for being here. And
my pleasure, Abha. Thank you for having me. And in fact, when you're talking about inspiring stories, I think yours is a great inspiration to actually let go of a 9 to 5 and start afresh. In fact, I love watching all your stories. It's like my morning motivation, like what's Abha up to now. And I attended one of your programs. So It was actually quite encouraging to try the AI tools. And my kids have been experimenting with it thanks to you as well.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Let's come to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your work, your family, and a little bit about what you do.
So very hard to put it into a sentence. I have always been a person who wanted multiple eggs in her basket. I think when someone asked me as a little girl, what do you want to do? I wanted to do everything. So I'm literally living my dream. I have a brand called Maha Marathon, under which we organize marathons in 6 different cities of Maharashtra. Almost 60,000 people run with us. Besides that, I am the director of Campus Club, which is the student platform of Lokmat. We have about 2 lakh student members, and we organize learning and competition events under that umbrella. And on the side, I also have a women's club like yourself, but here also we are organizing women's learning opportunities for women, sort of like inspiration journeys from noted celebrities, speakers, also workshops on different skills and tools. So we've been doing this for the last 15 years now. I have a center called the Yellow Door in Aurangabad, and we organize learning events again for children and for adults, fitness, lots of things happen under that. And I also write a little bit for children. So I have a couple of books to my name.
You're a coach as well.
I'm coaching parents.
I don't know how.
Stop now.
I didn't even know half of these things. I knew the Maha Marathon, and I know obviously you're coaching and that you do some kind of inspirational stuff with women. I didn't know you did all these other things. So I don't know how you do it all, and I don't know how you fit all the time in the day, because you're also a mom of 2 boys.
Yes. 2 young, energetic boys. And I think that's the best role I play in the entire day. I love being a mom. And I think most of the things I'm doing have actually got inspired from motherhood, not even like from Ruchira herself. It's actually just my motherhood journey that said, hey, I need this for my kids. I want to do this. And I want this for my kids. I want to do that. So that's how it all happened.
So tell me, how do you manage everything? And I also see that you're super active at home as well. So you're quite... you are active at home, you're involved at home, like whether it's meals for your kids or family outings, time with your husband, time with your kids, time with your in-laws. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. So please tell us how you manage it all.
Honestly, it's very hard to believe for people, but I actually loved playing all the roles. Like, I love setting a beautiful table for my family. I love going out with my husband. I actually enjoy everything I do. I don't do anything because it's like my duty or I have to. I just do it because I love it. I love working. I love taking care of my kids. I love setting up the table. I love being with my family. I'm saying love so many times because a lot of times people misinterpret it as burdens and pressure. It's not pressure for me. How I do it, honestly, it's teams. I feel fortunate and blessed to have lots of people who help me do what I want to do. It's impossible for one person to do so much. And relying on your teams is the best way to go forward. If you have ambitions like me, I obviously need a lot of people. So at home, I have my team of staff members who are making all of it possible the way I want it. At work, I have my colleagues who are putting things together the way I want it, how I envision it. And I think it's that whole process of teamwork. You know, even to raise the children, I would say the Yellow Door has played a large role. All of the teachers have contributed beautifully in my children's learning journey. So it was not my sole responsibility. As well as at home, you know, having your mother-in-law there at home is a large support in raising your children and actually raising your family. So I take advantage of all the support systems that I have to my access. I have not isolated anybody from the process.
I think it's so important that you bring this up because I think that we often want to do it all and we are not comfortable asking for help or delegating. I feel like generally we struggle asking for help because we should be able to do it all ourselves. And, you know, and also we struggle to let go because if we ask for help and want to delegate, we have to be prepared to let some of it go and let somebody else do it. And I feel like, especially as working moms who are very ambitious and we have certain ways of doing things, we struggle to ask for help. And I think that's so key that I think everyone needs to work on. And it looks like you've just embraced it, that while you have the help and support, and you've kind of flipped the switch in that you've realized that because I have the help and support, I can do a lot more and impact more lives and be with my family and be at home and be myself. You can be you and, you know, and I think
Ahmad also comes from the conditioning that we receive as women, right? A lot of it is unsaid. Nobody said these words to us, but somehow we take this pressure on ourselves that we should be able to do everything. And if we are not able to do it, then there is something missing in us. That's a conditioning that we all need to break out of. Fortunately, I got great mentors and teachers who sort of helped me find this thought process. I can't take credit for it being mine. It just actually happened through lots of learnings and lots of exploration, study. This pressure that we put on our daughters, we need to take it off. That, you know, if you are a mother, you should know everything about your child. Or if you are a wife, you should be taking care of your husband. And if you're an entrepreneur, then you should know what is the decision to take at all times. That is actually not true. You know, we are all learning as we're going forward. We have to just keep upgrading ourselves. We have to just keep building our skills, but take advantage of the people around us, because together we can do so much more. And it was never said, nobody actually said it anywhere, that a mother's supposed to do everything for her child. That is not the truth in any place. So why take so much pressure? If somebody is helping you with the meal, yay, take it as a blessing, enjoy it, and go do something you want to do. I have always seen it like that. I never felt bad when people said, oh, aaj maine usko khila diya khana, aaj to wo aise tha. I was like, oh, great, you were there, so you could make my son eat food, you know. I never took it like, oh my God, I was not there and you know, that meal time I missed. No, but I'm also there for so many other moments of the day. And my child needs guidance in so many different ways. So he's getting it and he's lucky. So why should I deprive?
That's the other thing. It's also a mindset shift of the mom guilt, right? It's like, oh, I went out and did something for myself and I couldn't feed my kid, and oh, you know, I had to rely on somebody else, and oh, I'm not a good mom. You know, I still struggle with it. Like because I work a lot as well, and I feel like whenever I can, I need to be with my child, because other times I'm working, so that when I try to step out and do something for myself, I sometimes do feel a bit guilty, but then I realize that if I'm not filling my own cup and if I'm not helping myself, I can't be a good mom. But it does take some conditioning, I think, especially when your kids are small and they need you so much.
Absolutely. But you know, a little bit of chalking out time and sort of having a structure planned in your head that this is what I want to do with my kids. And there are these certain mundane tasks that someone else can take over. Like for me, feeding my kids when they were younger, I thought it was the most burdensome activity, because trying to put food into his mouth and then getting cranky about it, I didn't see any any advantage in doing that. I would rather read a book or play a game or dance in the rain with my child. So I delegated that task of putting food in the mouth to somebody else because it was time consuming, right? I could do the entertaining. So many times I feel moms get it wrong. They want to put food in the mouth, but the playing is happening with the maid. It is so incorrect. The playing should happen with you, or the bonding should happen with you. There's learning from you. So if you can do both, great. Like I honestly felt I couldn't do it at that age. It was 1 hour to feed lunch was too much for me to take. So I said, you know what? She does it better. Let her do that. And I will play after the meal is over. Or I'll be around doing something, or I'll be playing while he's eating, whatever the distraction tools we needed in those days. So I think it's the clarity for your own capacity that you can do, and a little bit planning that these are the things I want to do with my kids, and these are the things I'm happy to delegate.
So what's your ultimate goal as someone, as a working mom who's involved with so many different things? Like, do you have some ultimate place you'd like to be, or what are you heading towards?
So I think Abha is a great question. I've been doing this soul searching activity for a while. Initially, I just wanted to create recognition for myself. So in my early years, when I started working, that was my ultimate goal. I wanted people to know me, like, who's Ruchira? And that was my main purpose to work. As time has progressed, I've also started like filtering out things that I don't want to be involved in anymore. I think I'm done with, you have phases in your life where you feel like this was the right thing to do at that time, but now it's done with. I think where I'm going is I'm really enjoying doing the parent education for the sole reason that I'm observing that children are actually struggling because of lack of right parenting. The more I'm interacting with kids, the more I'm seeing the need for educating parents to do the right thing. And, honestly, for parents today, it's a very distracted time. There's lots of pressure. There's so much work. And there is lots of distractions on the outside. Like socializing is so much more. Social media takes up so much of our time. Lots of things, right? Missing on basic things we need to do with our children, basic techniques of talking to another human, acknowledging a person and the way to listen. We're missing out. And a lot of people are treating their kids like, I say you do. And that's the right way to go forward. But not realizing we're raising a human and what kind of impact each of our reactions is making on our children. So this has become like my mission now, honestly. I think now I'm done with lots of the entrepreneurial stuff. A lot of my projects are set. They're almost like self-running. This is my ultimate goal, that I want to spread education to be a good person. So whether you're a parent or, being good to yourself, we all need to learn how to do it. And unfortunately, earlier people realized because there's a lot of time for self-introspection. But today's times, we don't have that kind of luxury. We are not connected to our inner selves. I want to spread those skills and tools that helped me actually get this far, that I want to spread it to other parents, other individuals. And that's my life mission now.
So what are the biggest challenges you faced in your journey so far?
There's so many, and I'm sure you know so many of them for yourself.
Maybe the biggest.
Being a woman entrepreneur, I think it's really hard, right? Like you said, like I like to do the balance from home to work as well. And the hardest is that most days your work is not acknowledged for being serious, right? Like a lot of people think like this is something you're doing to entertain yourself until you get to a certain point. When you have a new idea, you need to prove so much to other people that this will make it, and this, I believe in it, and it has potential. So yeah, those are like the common, I think every woman goes through those kind of challenges. In fact, I think my hardest challenge is to balance all the needs of my husband with my personal ambition, because he has a lot of as well, that we want to entertain, we want to do this, we want to do that. He's a successful businessman as well. So he doesn't see my journey as being a difficult one. That I think is a little bit of perspective difference. Of course, he's very appreciative and very supportive. Just bringing someone on the same page as you, I think, is the biggest challenge ever.
So how have you managed to kind of overcome that?
Patience, I think, is one. that, don't lose yourself completely. I mean, of course, I've lost myself when I was younger. I've done all the crying and screaming and all of it. But I think patience, people come around. It's a little bit harder because I know that I have to answer 20 calls from my kids in between a meeting as well, because my kids will be like, where is this? What is that? Mama, what this? Mama, what? Even though I'll be like, don't call me for this 1 hour, it still happens. So as women, I think we generally have a lot more of, distractions. So whether it's the children, whether it's the kitchen calling, whether it's something your parents need, your in-laws need, your husband needs, a lot of these personal calls get mixed into your work day, right? The way I think I have been able to manage it to a fair bit is having patience firstly, and communicating slowly and trying to build clarity for each person. Also, when you start like sort of proving that what you are working towards, your goal and your ambition, your vision is working, automatically I think people start falling in line. So it's the first few years that are a little bit harder than the rest. And once, like now today, if I was to say, hey, I'm planning to do this now, I know that I'll enjoy a lot more quicker support. I will also enjoy a lot of understanding, because I've proven myself now through so many projects of, taking it to success, showing consistency, showing progress. Now it's like much easier to take on anything. But in those years, it was much harder, of course. And with all of the distractions that come with it, you can't, I think I'm pretty sure in all of the office meetings, the staff looks at me like every time I have to pick up a call from my son and he's asking me something very silly and I'm trying to like hold a serious face and be like, yeah, it's under the table. Look for it there.
Yeah, the beginning years, I think, are definitely the hardest.
The kids don't grow up, honestly, Abha. Don't even assume that the kids' needs and demands just go higher. And the questions that they're asking you on the phone are questions that you need to actually pause, reflect, and answer on. And if you're sitting in a meeting, you don't have that kind of luxury. So if they're asking you, I'm going out on a date today, you have to have the time to process that question. So exactly, it just gets more challenging, in fact. What as women I feel, Abha, is that since we go through it, if we realize this and we give this luxury to a female colleague, that's where the change happens, because we cannot have the same systems of working with what men enjoy, because women at home take up a lot of responsibility off their table. So if you can offer that luxury to a female colleague member, if she's getting a call from home and it's okay if she's in the middle of a conversation with you, she can pick it up and tell her child something. That little respect, I think we can change this whole thing of everybody has to work a certain way. As long as the job is getting done, we need to give people some space to also be mums and also be dads.
For sure. And I think, to be honest, anything, if good, came from COVID was this whole remote work, flexible work from anywhere, just get the job done. We don't care where you are, because that's just how it was. I think that's really made a shift. Accepting that you don't have to be in one place to do your work done. So where do you get your inspiration?
I think a lot of people inspire me, but honestly, I mean, I know I'm not going to sound very modest, but it's my inner fire. I have to give myself credit for it, because it is my very personal ambition. Honestly, I had the luxury to sit it out and say, I didn't need to do anything. I just could have enjoyed a good life and chilled and traveled and eaten good food. There was never any pressure to do actually anything, any of it. Like I told you initially, it was all about finding who I am, what is my potential, testing my own potential, and actually getting recognition for who Ruchira is, not for the family name. And that was very, very important to me. In fact, I remember my father-in-law asked me once when I sat down with my first project that I wanted to launch. He said, why you want to do it now? You'll have kids and you'll be busy. Why do you want to do this now? And he's a very progressive person. He's very, very supportive. It's not about being regressive as to, oh, why do you want to work at all? But he sort of questioned my intention. And I said, exactly because the fact that I'll be having kids soon, I want to have established my name before. I don't want my kids to look to Karan and say, hey, our dad is like all important. Our mom is something too. And I wanted to have that balance on the table. I want my kids to look up to me. I want my kids to come to me when they are stuck in a problem and not be that only my father could help me. And those were the reasons I wanted to actually establish myself personally, separately from Lokmat, separately from the family business, because I said, I will never know what was my true potential otherwise. And that is actually, I would give credit to a lot of my personal inner ambition to just find. I like to test myself, honestly, like, can you really do this? And every time someone challenges me, this is not possible, it becomes even more of a test that I have to prove to myself that I could do this. So yeah, it comes from there. And I think my driver is obviously my mom, because we were raised to do stuff. She never let us have a dull moment in our childhood. It was always like, okay, you have a summer vacation to an internship with this company. If you have time in the day, why don't you join this class? Something. She always added experience to our calendars. And so it always became a part of us to kind of go out, explore, do different things. And somewhere I think I developed a mindset of it was okay if I couldn't make it. So I never took that it'll be my personal failure if I don't see something through. But I definitely would put 200% of myself into it, because that's just the person I am. So yeah, I think a lot of my inspiration, I would say, by credit to myself, but my driver is my mom.
And that's so wonderful that you say that, because I also feel like as women, we often choose the route of modesty, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I do feel that we don't give ourselves enough credit. And even if we do, we don't talk about it. It's almost like, how can you talk about it? And I'm actually going through that shift myself now, where I'm just like, no, I'm doing this and I'm doing it because of me, and just feeling more comfortable to go out there and say that. I think that's another mindset shift that a lot of us need to work on, because we don't have to live staying that humble all the time. Of course, being humble is important, but giving ourselves credit is also important. So it's very good that you've
These are one of the skills, Abha, that I teach in the class, of how to give a pat on the child's back. You are not supposed to pat the child when they do something good. Let them appreciate themselves, because we've always survived on external validation. So when we don't receive it, we feel incomplete and incompetent, right? But as in actually the class that I take with parents, I actually teach them that teach your child to self-validate. If they came home with a gold medal, teach them to say, hey, I did this, I did a good job. None of us were ever taught that before.
Correct.
And that's why we find it so hard to say it for ourselves. And we wait for someone else to say, you did a good job. And that actually is not the right way to go forward.
I need to take your class. Please, can you let us know when the next one is? So what would your advice be to working moms or moms who are in transition? Maybe they've just had babies. Maybe they're in jobs and they want to move out of it and start something of their own. Or maybe they've stayed at home because they've had babies and they want to start doing something of their own. What would be your one advice that you would give moms, no matter what stage they are in their ambition?
I would say believe. Believe is my only advice, because mostly why we hold ourselves back is we don't believe we have it in us. So whether you're starting a second career, whether you're shifting careers, when you're starting out after being a mom, or just starting out as a young woman as well, just believe in yourself that you have the capacity, you have the potential. And if you don't, the only thing you need is to just get those skills from somewhere, like do a program, join a course, something, find a mentor. You can just add on to whatever potential and skill you have today. It's just your belief in yourself that takes you to the next step. Don't wait for someone else to believe in you. You know how a lot of time we wait for our husband to say, hey, you've got it, you go do it. Or we wait for our father to encourage us, or a mother to say, I see you doing this, why don't you try? Don't wait for other people. Keep your faith in yourself. strong, keep it consistent. The days you're falling short of it, go to a right mentor, find a spiritual leader who will boost you up again. But do not look for external validation for your goals and your vision. It's very simple, Abha. People don't understand our personal vision. Like if I was to just tell you, Abha, I'm stuck here and I think I don't know if I can make it through, you actually don't know my personal potential. As a friend, you'll say, hey, Ruchira, you're doing so much. Why don't you sit this one out and let it be? Or you'll say, you can do it. Come on, push yourself. But neither you know my problems, neither you know my struggles, nor you know my potential. So how are you the right guide for me? So the only right guide for me is me, because I know my struggles, I know my challenges, I know my potential. Yes, the right person could be a right coach, a spiritual leader, or a really good mentor who has seen you through the journey, who understands the journey, who can actually guide you on how to navigate from this step or forward. But the first step is me believing in me. So to anybody, any woman in any stage, just believe that you have it in you and you can do it. If you have the ambition, you have the potential as well. Just build on that.
What do you do in your me time?
I work out. I love my workout. I work out and I drink a cup of coffee. You'll always see me walking around with a cup of coffee. That is my favorite thing to do, have a cup of coffee. And my me time, honestly, is in the gym. I love my workouts.
Do you run? Do you do weights? What do you do? Yoga? Everything.
No, not yoga. It's too slow for me. I can't tolerate it. So I run, I do weight, I do strength training, I'll do aerial yoga. It's more challenging and it's exciting. There's lots of more movement. Yeah, so I think patience is something I need to build for doing traditional yoga. But yeah, all of it. So fortunately, I have a good trainer. He creates a lot of variety in the workout. I really enjoy it. And I think that's my favorite part of my whole day. And of course, besides that, I love bedtime with my kids. So that's, I think I count as my me time because I just love putting my kids to bed.
Remind me how old they are now?
Now they're 12 and 9.
Oh, wow. Growing fast. So a few quick fire questions to end our chat. What's your favorite tool that makes your life easier?
Asking for help.
Asking for help. What's your favorite parenting book or advice that was a game changer for you?
I would say How to Talk So Kids Listen, because I also teach that program, but that definitely added a lot of, positive skills into the parenting. And one book that I'm reading right now, I Parent, it's by Neha Hiranandani. I would recommend all parents of, young teenagers to read that book. It's very intense, it's very serious, but it gives you a lot of information on what's happening today with social media and digital, platforms, and how we need to be aware so we can protect our kids. I think these are the two books I would suggest. The first definitely is about skills and learning how to be a good parent.
Favorite quote?
People don't remember what you did for them. People remember how you made them feel. I think that changed my entire approach and the way I talk to people, and made me realize that I should be nicer, kinder with my words. I think a long time ago, I read this quote and it's really stuck with me forever.
One last question. What is your biggest productivity hack?
I would say calendar.
Yeah.
I really mark everything in my calendar. I don't leave anything out. Even if it's like my kids' classes to even my time with the kids, I'll mark it in my calendar.
Like
so that
your Google Calendar?
Yeah, like the calendar. And color blocking it. I love doing that. Whether it's my social media content, planning, whatever it is, even my captions and my reference links, everything I put on Google Calendar. And that I think really helps me. Besides that, Excel sheets. If I know something's coming up, I'll quickly make a planner on Excel and leave it there. Once it's on the sheet, I find it much easier to get through stuff and, get things done.
And for your
I don't rely on my brain at all.
For your Google Calendar, do you do it every week? Like on the weekend, do you set your calendar, or do you do it the night before, or when do you do it?
So I will actually update the events as and when they come, because I'll do a lot of talking events, or, a lot of things are happening around us. So whenever something is getting scheduled, I immediately go to the calendar and put it in. I do have a physical diary in which I do the scratching, but it won't be like weekly because there are too many commitments also at my end. So it will be, some things are like already time blocked. Certain things are already in the calendar. Whatever new stuff comes, add to it immediately. Or I take my assistant's help and update it immediately, because otherwise you tend to forget to put it in.
What about time with your kids? How do you block that in? Do you do that in
So
advance?
I don't do anything between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, because my kids are coming home, they're chilling, they're eating. So that is the time I stay home with them. And at the night after dinner, so we all eat dinner together between 7:30 and 8. After that, till they go to bed, I'm with them. I don't see my phone also. So everybody knows these are the times where we won't find her. Time is blocked for my kids, no matter what is the agenda. Unless it's an emergency, they will call me. Otherwise, they'll wait for me to respond after.
Oh, that's good. And do you put your phone aside? Because that's another thing I find hard. I feel like I don't put my phone aside enough when I'm with my kids.
You really need to do that, because as they grow older, Abha, you realize then they will say, hey, you're on your phones, I can be on my phone.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to do that also, because you need to be mindfully present. And that's why I've marked the timing. Now at 5 o'clock, I won't give my child preference. I'll give my work preference. But at 4, I'll give him preference. So I think that's something I've set for myself. 2 to 4 o'clock, I don't usually engage on my phone. I don't usually see my phone post dinner till their bedtime. I leave it in the other room, so I'm not even tempted. It'll be in my bed. I'll be in the kids' room. If it's an emergency, it's on ringer, somebody calls me, one of us will run to see if it's really important or not, or just ignore it. So yeah, that's a practice. I usually leave my phone in another place. It's not sitting next to me. So I don't get tempted, I also don't have notifications on. So that really helps me, because otherwise it just keeps pinging for every little message. So I don't have notifications. I see the WhatsApp when I need to see it myself. And then I'll catch up on.
Correct. And if it's an emergency, someone's going to call you. So
exactly.
That is not the mode. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Ruchira. This has been such a nice chat. And next time I come to Aurangabad, we have to meet. So thank you for your time.